Well, hello everybody and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Now the other day I made an orange and almond cake which I thought was very good indeed, and so I've decided to make a variant of it today, which is a bit of an experiment. The variant, if it turns out properly, is going to be coconut and pineapple. The only issue I have is that I'm using coconut flour, which is very finely ground coconut, and apparently that is much more absorbent than ground almonds. So I've had to add some liquid into this recipe. The recipe that I used the other day had 6 eggs, a pound or 450 grams of orange, ground almonds and sugar. But today I'm also going to add in 240 millilitres of coconut oil to try to counteract the fact that the coconut flour is very absorbent. I'm also going to add in some baking powder to help it rise, because I think it may be rather more dense if the flour absorbs the liquid too much. So what I have is 450 grams of crushed pineapple. This is from a tin. I have the juice separate here, which I'm going to use to make an icing for the top. So I have 450 grams of the crushed pineapple, which I've drained obviously, and I'm going to put that in the food processor, and I'm going to process that into more of a pulp than it already is. And I'm preheating the oven to 180 Celsius. That's 160 Celsius with a fan, 350 Fahrenheit. And I've taken a 23 centimetre, 9-inch springform pan, and I've greased it and I've lined it with parchment paper. So let's just pulse and process this pineapple a little bit. Okay, so that's done. And then what I'm going to do is add in all the remaining ingredients. So I'm going to add in 250 grams of coconut flour. And I'm going to add in 225 grams of caster sugar. I'm going to sprinkle over that a teaspoon of baking powder and pour in 6 medium eggs. That would be large eggs in the USA. And I'm going to pour in 240 millilitres of coconut oil. And then I'm going to process that to mix it all together. Okay. So that's mixed together. And I'm going to pour that into our cake tin. And I can see that at the moment it's much more liquid than the one that I did the other day. That's because of the addition of the oil, but as the coconut flour begins to absorb the liquid, it will firm up and become thicker. So that's that. And I don't need to shake it or anything because it's settled down level. So I'm going to put that in the oven and I'm going to bake it at first for between 50 and 60 minutes. After 50 minutes I'll check it with a skewer to see if it comes out clean. If not, I'll allow it to bake longer. I will also keep an eye on it to make sure that it doesn't brown too much on the top. If it looks as though it's getting too brown, then I will cover it lightly with some silver foil to prevent it from over browning. So I'll be back with you when I've taken it out of the oven. Okay, so welcome back. Now I baked the cake for exactly an hour and a skewer in the centre comes out clean. So now I'm just going to make a simple icing or frosting using the juice from the crushed pineapples and 250 grams of icing sugar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with 2 tablespoons of juice, and I'll add more if I need more later, and just stir that into the icing sugar. I want it to be a thick consistency so that it coats the top and holds its place, just wanting to trickle down if necessary. So I'm going to put another tablespoon in, see how we go with that. Icing sugar is one of the messiest things to work with because it's so light. So I'm going to put a little drop more in, half a tablespoon maybe. I may need another half a tablespoon, but yeah, I'm going to put just a little drop more in. That's about a teaspoon. And then I'm going to just let that drop onto the cake. I'm going to spread that around. and I'm going to leave it at that. So that's the icing. I'm going to leave that just for a few minutes so that it firms up a little bit. Then I'll come back with you and we'll cut it and see what it looks like. Okay, so I've just left this a few minutes and it isn't firm yet, but it should be okay. I'm just going to take a slice out. So that's the slice I've taken out. I'm just going to have a little taste of that. It's very, very moist, as you can imagine. And that lovely coconut flavour with the pineapple infused into it. Yep, that is very good indeed. So, as an experiment, that's turned out very well, I have to say. I've enjoyed trying that. So, that's going to be it for today. I'll be back with you again in the very near future with another recipe. If you've enjoyed this one, please give me the thumbs up below the video and click on the subscribe button to subscribe to the YouTube channel. There'll be a link below the video to the recipe, and there'll be an eye in the top right hand corner that you can click on that will also take you to the recipe. So that's it for today. I will see you again soon. Until then, happy baking.